Hello, Army of Light, the boots on the ground. It's Shawna L. Francis. Today is January 2nd, 2025. Welcome to 2025, everybody. How are you feeling about the year? In case you missed it a couple weeks ago, Melchizedek talked about their predictions for 2025 and a recap of 2024. Also, last week, we had a check-in from the Galactic Federation of Light. Will Racer, formerly of the GFL, came through. Also Melchizedek, in case you missed that. We are back to decoding the living word today. And I just want to say Happy New Year to everybody. Thank you so much for being here. Some of you have been with me since the beginning for many, many years, and I am so grateful. I'm grateful to the newcomers. If you show up here, if you are resonating with these frequencies, you are in the right place. We are talking about the negative reptilian regime's stronghold on humanity, on this planet, unbeknownst to most people here. We're talking about the ascension. We're talking about how the negative reptilians are causing our ascension, why we have chosen the ascension really to finally, once and for all, get rid of this subjugation and manipulation by this off-planet species who've really been around for a very long time, working behind the scenes, doing their thing. It's really awful. I'm a conscious channel. I am channeling the Order of Melchizedek. I've channeled many other beings of light as well over the years. Really, they're our main guides right now. In terms of the Bible, Decoding the Living Word, this series, Melchizedek. They wrote Genesis. They wrote Revelation. I have a lot to go through today. This channeling took a couple of days to get through, and I'm also going to answer one of the questions that came in through the comments, which was, why does Revelation have to be so dark and dreary and dreadful? So I'm going to answer that question channeled by Melchizedek. I'm so glad that you're here. Thanks, everybody. How are you feeling about 2025? Let us know in the comments how you're doing. We know that really 2025 is about us shining our light, getting as sparkly as we can, because the frequencies here are going to get quite frenetic this year, is what they're saying. The light and the dark both ramping up, amping up. And so we really want to be that calm in the chaos. We want to be able to shine our light no matter what's going on around us. And remember, the guides have said many, many times, there's absolutely nothing worth dampening your light. Okay. You've got this. We've been at this a while. Okay, guys, Decoding the Living Word. We are on to chapters 17 and 18 of Revelation. And Melchizedek, the way they did it the last couple of days, we kind of bounce around a little bit between the two chapters. They're interrelated. We've got some themes here. What's so very exciting about this is that we are talking about Babylon. And doing a little bit of research here, so many different scholars and folks who study the Bible have debated what the heck Babylon is representing, what it means, since this book was published. So Melchizedek spills the beans on what that is. What is the great fall of Babylon? So I'm excited to get into that. Basically, that's it. We've got, like I said, quite a bit of channeling. I'm going to go ahead and dive in. Again, glad you're here. Thanks, everybody, for subscribing, for all your beautiful comments on this channel, for liking. It all helps get this word out. It helps the algorithm with YouTube distribute these videos even further. So thanks for doing all that. I'm so appreciative. Okay, Melchizedek. We're going to dive right into this. Chapter 17 of Revelation. This tells the tale of the harlot, in purple and scarlet, seated upon many waters, riding a beast with 7 heads and 10 horns. In later verses, the symbology here is explained with even more symbology. And now we'd like to set the record straight on what these passages mean and how they apply to today's ascending world. The great harlot, bejeweled with gold and gems and pearls, alluring, beautiful, captivating, perhaps even irresistible. She does not see past her folly. She does not see the broader picture of her situation. She turns a blind eye to the larger ramifications of her actions, the roles she's playing, how she's being manipulated, a simple puppet in a playhouse, and it is a captivating show. Okay, so that's how Melchizedek started this out. Okay, I'm going to read from the Bible here, verses 1 through 6, chapter 17. Then one of the 7 angels who had the 7 bowls came and said to me, "Come, I will show you the judgment of the great harlot, who is seated upon many waters, with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication. And with the wine of those fornication, the dwellers on earth have become drunk." And he carried me away in the spirit into a wilderness, and I saw a woman sitting on a scarlet beast, which was full of blasphemous names, and it had 7 heads and 10 horns. The woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet and adorned with the gold and jewels and pearls, holding in her hand a golden cup full of abominations and the impurities of her fornication. And on her forehead was written a name of mystery, Babylon the Great, mother of harlots and of earth's abominations. And I saw the woman drunk with the blood of the saints, the blood of the martyrs of Jesus. And when I saw her, I marveled greatly. Okay. That gives you a little bit of a taste of Babylon, the harlot, really one and the same for our purposes here. And then we started up again a couple hours later, and Melchizedek asked, could I go ahead and read chapter 18? We're going to combine this. I said, sure. And I'm not going to read all of it. I'm going to read some of it here, but really getting into this. This is about kind of the infamous judgment and the fall of the city, the great city of Babylon. And like I said, there's been a lot of speculation on what Babylon represents. We've got the harlot here, which in some other Bible versions, they call the harlot here a prostitute. And, you know, she's got Babylon the Great on her forehead. And this flashy harlot, she represents Babylon. Okay. Chapter 18, verses 1 through 3. After this, I saw another angel coming down from heaven, having great authority. And the earth was made bright with his splendor. And he called out with a mighty voice, "Fallen, fallen is Babylon the Great. It has become a dwelling place of demons, a haunt of every foul spirit. For all nations have drunk the wine of her impure passion, and the kings of earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth have grown rich with her wantonness." Okay, here is Melchizedek. The great wrath that is upon the city of Babylon represents the sweeping changes that will befall the earth as part of this journey of ascension. Specifically, the wealth that she, the harlot or Babylon, represents is akin to the mesmerizing, almost hypnotic trance that most of humanity has succumbed to. Okay. The wealth that she represents. This is the key here. Melchizedek. Yes, you see greed and gluttony, materialism, overconsumption, coveting thy neighbor's possessions, keeping up with the Joneses, as they say. It's never enough, always wanting more, comparing yourselves to your brothers and sisters, the flashy, the expensive, the flaunting of wealth, and all the divisiveness and separation that wealth affords this plane of existence. Commerce, currency, control. Your captors have quite effectively and elegantly created this elite class of humanity with nearly incomprehensible amounts of wealth in order to manipulate and subjugate the masses. They've said, here is something that you may worship. Here are who and what you should strive to be. here is the ultimate pinnacle of success on this planet. Don't you all want to be a part of this? Okay, so we're talking about the negative reptilian regime here, the beast, the financial institutions of this planet. We've talked a lot about the financial institutions here and how in 2025, according to Melchizedek, they are still predicting that there will be some major collapsing happening in our financial markets, in our financial systems, and to be prepared for this. Also, by the way, 2025 solar flare, a massive one that may take out power grids. So yeah, this just adds to the incredible chaos that's going to possibly be here on our doorsteps in 2025, and why it's so important to be that beacon of light through this calm and chaos. Okay. And they continue. Then conversely, they create the illusion of scarcity, the idea that your attainment of the social status, of this level of wealth, of these comforts, should be the most important thing that one should do within their lifetime. The perceived lack is a great motivator through fear. I think we can all relate to this. You've also been taught that this is a very singular pursuit. Very seldom is wealth shared. Outside of close relationships or family relations, each person out for themselves, as they say. You must work hard and perhaps step on others to climb that ladder to wealth and prosperity. It can be a ruthless game, causing much angst, fear, anger, resentment, and self-righteousness. And I can attest to this in my 25 years working in corporate America as a digital marketing executive. As you are climbing that corporate ladder, and there's other ladders here that you can climb besides just this, you really are playing a game of stress, of panic. The sky is falling. At any moment, you're going to lose all your business. I mean, it is just this high stakes, stressful world. And it takes a bit of ruthlessness sometimes to be able to maneuver that world and to be able to stand up confidently and be a team player and work from a place of love, work from a place of relationships, community, striving for common goals. But I've been in lots of situations where there's a lot of backstabbing going on as people, really trying to get ahead, get that promotion, get that raise, get that corner office. Anyway, they're saying here, what a perfect distraction, Melchizedek says. The individual pursuit of prosperity, and for so many of you on the planet today, it's just the pursuit of survival. The fear of being destitute, penniless, homeless, is another incredible motivating factor helping to control the masses. I just think this is really fascinating. They've created the elite class that really they're all about flaunting their wealth. Look at Instagram, look at X, look at even YouTube. They've created this upper echelon in order to control the masses. It is all just a facade here because it helps to keep us focused on attaining wealth and climbing those ladders to creature comforts and having a big bank account and having a big house and a nice car and all the things. Really, this becomes our lifetime pursuit. Otherwise, you're going to be destitute or penniless. So they've done an incredible job of creating this environment for us, this experience for us, and we're all in accord with it. We're all in agreement to some degree that this is how things are here. And it's the ultimate distraction, they're saying. And they continue here. Dear ones, imagine the real power you'd possess if the mighty dollar, money, was not such a ruling factor in your lives. Imagine all the energy, the focus, and attention that you could place into so many other enriching pursuits if surviving and even thriving from a monetary perspective weren't the central focus. Yeah, and I know that we all want this. We all want this, but it's really, really difficult in the ways that the planet is set up right now, and it's all by design. All right. Then this was the next day, and they continued. When we say to you, prepare for an imminent financial collapse, what we mean here is everything you thought you knew about money, about commerce, about trade, some of the most basic financial elements that constitute most of your reality, must change in order for you all to be operating at a higher level of frequency. Yeah, think about this. Really, for us to really get up to that next level, all of this has to go. Melchizedek. All these things were built in fear, either perpetrated by the negative reptilian regime or perpetuated by humanity in some way. The first of the fault lines in your financial systems are showing stress. The beginning rumblings, as the pressure begins to squeeze and twist current infrastructure. A crack emerges over here, which causes a weakness over here, and this has a domino effect of causing stress in other areas. That stress and the growing cracks cause weakness and instability across the entire fault line. Sections of this fault line will begin to crumble in very real and tangible ways that will impact day-to-day living. And I think this is what they're talking about for 2025. It's going to be a chunk is going to fall off the dam here and a chunk's going to fall off over here. And you can only, patch these dams up, these cracks up, the leaks up so much before the whole thing comes down. And that's exactly what they're talking about, the metaphor of a fault line. All right. Melchizedek. Here we do predict that at some point the small shakeups here and there may be able to be patched up for a time, but the entire structure is on faulty ground. And this fault line will eventually release in totality, unleashing what will be considered a devastating collapse on a mass scale. I don't think they're talking about the full-on collapse happening this year. They're talking about like portions of it. Okay. The fallout will be so complete that there will be no way to reconstruct based on the pieces that fell, but that a whole new infrastructure will need to be created. And this will be a challenging rebuilding process because the old guard, those who have been maintaining the old facade, will wish to be the ones in charge of the rebuilding efforts. However, they said, the rising frequencies of the planet will not allow such a thing. There will be no support for the old ways of ruling, controlling, subjugating through money systems. So, dear friends, when we say that Babylon falls in as little as an hour, we're referring to this. All right, chapter 18, verses 10. Alas, alas, thou great city, thou mighty city, Babylon, in 1 hour has thy judgment come. Verse 17. In 1 hour all this wealth has been laid waste. So yeah, 18, if you walk through this, it's actually quite incredible. All of the incredible riches and all the things that people covet and find important all just crumbles within an hour, and it's all gone. And everybody's crying and mourning the loss of Babylon, this great city that made everybody so wealthy. Okay. We had a break and we continued here. Babylon, dear friends, almost always serving the top while, quote unquote, managing the masses. While you may be asking yourselves, isn't this a bit extreme? This doesn't seem to be that bad. We assure you, dear friends, that you are desensitized to the massive shortcomings of these financial systems because you haven't known anything else. It just seems normal to you, as if this is just the way things are. There are multitudes of options for societal structures for a species such as yourselves that don't require the inequities built into most of Earth's global financial systems. It feels as if your global financial systems are a bit unstable. It's because they are. History shows that what seems like stable infrastructure can collapse within moments in certain scenarios, in certain situations, is what they said. Yeah, I think all of us in our memories of this lifetime can think of a time when there was a big global financial meltdown and it took some time to recover, whether that be through real estate or through the stock market, the recessions, the depressions. These things do happen. I think we're talking about a little bit of a bigger scale, though, even for 2025. Okay. All right, we're going to switch gears a little bit. We're going to go back to chapter 17. Chapter 17, verse 9. This calls for a mind with wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 hills on which the woman is seated. They are also 7 kings, 5 of whom have fallen. One is, the other has not yet come, and when he comes, he must remain only a little while. All right, so we're kind of jumping around, and I hope that's not too confusing. They talk about the harlot sitting on these 7 hills. They talked about the beast having 7 heads. So there's all this symbolism here. So Melchizedek is going to explain this. The 5 who have fallen in this passage refer to ancient kings prior to when this text was written. The one that is refers to the British royal monarchy, they said. The other that has not yet come refers to China, they said. More so, the ruling elite behind the public figures who are said to lead China. And they move on. Chapter 17, verse 12. And the 10 horns that you saw are 10 kings who have not yet received royal power, but they are to receive authority as kings for 1 hour with the beast. These are of one mind and give over their power and authority to the beast. They will make war on the Lamb, and the Lamb will conquer them, for he is Lord of lords and King of kings, and those with him are called and chosen and faithful. All right, I love this passage. This is exactly the hive mind control mechanisms of the negative reptilians here. These are of one mind and give over their power and authority to the beast. It's exactly everything that we've been talking about. It's exactly what Queen Elizabeth explained how all this worked. It's right here in Revelation, and Melchizedek wrote it 2,000 years ago. All right. I'm going to read a little bit more. Chapter 17, verse 15. And the 10 horns that you saw, they and the beast will hate the harlot. They will make her desolate and naked and devour her flesh and burn her up with fire. God has put it into their hearts to carry out his purpose by being of one mind and giving over their royal power to the beast until the words of God shall be fulfilled. And the woman that you saw is the great city which has dominion over the kings of the earth. Okay, a little confusing. Here's Melchizedek explaining this. The 10 kings, the 10 horns, represents in this case freedom. That really surprised me when they said that. I'm like, did I hear that right? Freedom. For these kings will not be fully under the beast's control, but in actuality will be working on behalf of the light, unbeknownst to the beast. I love this. So we're talking about the hive mind humans, the control. For an hour, for a time, the beast is going to gather these folks and through mind manipulation think they're going to be controlling them. Melchizedek is saying, this group of 10 is going to be infiltrated by light workers, and they may pretend to be working on behalf of the beast, of the negative reptilians, but in actuality, they will be bringers of light. All right, they continue. When the time of judgment comes, the beast will seek to create a small alliance of extremely powerful humans. But this group will be infiltrated by those working as double agents. So their plan will backfire. The figureheads who claimed to be following the beast, but in fact are working for the light and truth, will foil the beast's plan for ultimate dominion. It will be too late, it'll be too little, too late, and it shall be done. Okay, that's a lot of chapters 17 and 18, the great fall of Babylon, the harlot, the seven hills, the 7 kings, the 10 kings. Excuse me, guys. Okay, quickly, because I'm getting a tickle in my throat. I want to answer this question here for everybody, and it is, I did type most of the stuff in the comments, but we had a person ask here, it's been probably a week or two ago, why is the imagery in Revelation so awful? Why do we have to have such death and destruction here? Like, this just isn't making sense. I don't really understand how to decode this. Okay. Melchizedek answering this question. Thank you, dear one, for the questions. We completely understand that today's reader looks at this text, this imagery, the destruction, the plagues, the debauchery, and wonders, how did this even make it into the Bible in the first place? These are scary images and, frankly, not relatable. What we will say, dear friend, is that when the Order of Melchizedek wrote these passages long ago, it was a completely different world, particularly from an energetic standpoint. The language used, the word choices, the symbolism, the metaphors were meant to paint a picture of the seriousness of the wrath of God. Excuse me. And quite honestly, Melchizedek felt the need to use such intense language in order to make the point that there are real consequences for those who turn their backs on God. If flowery, pleasing language would have been used, these passages would never have survived to make it into the Bible. Yeah, I could see that. The negative reptilians and those who put the Bible together, the ruling deacons at the time, yeah, they probably loved this scary, awful imagery because it falls in line with creating fear. So you could see how Melchizedek back in the day, well, I'm going to beat them at their own game here. We're going to put all this fear-based language in here, but we're also going to be hiding all kinds of meanings in here. And it's the living word, and this continues to morph and change and support different generations with different information, okay, like what we're doing today. Melchizedek says here, we regret the use of fear as a tactic to help drive this point. At the time, we felt that this was the best chance we had at bringing attention to the fight between good and evil. This is the living word. It is meant to take on different meanings for different generations, for different eras. They continue. The negative reptilians would have never allowed this content to survive had we called them out directly. These words are powerful and infused with an energetic frequency that supports truth, that supports the light across time and space. These words tend to stick with a person. It goes beyond the superficial. There is a frequency of continuity that binds all generations on earth through words such as these. Awesome. I love it. Last paragraph. One may see that with all the progress and all the changes, some things do stay the same. The negative reptilian regime is the one constant here. The love of God is another. This is a war of consciousness, and many tactics have been used to help wage this war and to ensure the success of the light. While the words in Revelation may seem counterintuitive to this, there are reasons for all of it beyond how it reads on the surface. And even more shall be revealed in 200 or 300 years, a few more times between now and the end of the ascension as consciousness continues to evolve on Earth. It's just wild. I just love this. Okay, that's really where things ended. All right. I don't really know what else to say here. I think this, these words are going to take some time to sink in. I think, the timing of these things is very interesting. I think for me, as I try to get my brain around this, time is an illusion, that kind of thing trips me up a little bit. Everything's happening now, but there does seem to be kind of a timeline going on here, and we are working within that construct. So there's things that are happening now, and there's things that are happening in the future here on this particular timeline. But Melchizedek, the Galactic Federation of Light, other folks I've channeled have been really consistent about some of these things, and other channelers are coming forward with the financial collapse, this kind of thing. So I think it's a good opportunity to think about, being prepared for some kind of a breakdown with the financial systems. I'm gonna find the video that we put out on the financial systems crumbling and link that down below so you can reference that if you want to get into that. Okay. Well, guys, we're on one hell of a ride here. 2025 is going to be incredible. I'm super excited for it. Lots going on. Thanks again for being here. I love each of you, and I do plan to see you all next week. Until then, enjoy, and we'll talk soon. Mwah.